I'm Rick Stroud with Stephen Holder here at the St. Petersburg Times at Bucs training camp. We've wrapped up really sort of the first week. Still an afternoon practice with special teams to go today, and a big one tomorrow night the fans can see at Raymond James Stadium, where there'll be a lot of live hitting and action. You want to make sure you see that there. And really, you know, as you wrap up the first week, you get a lot of first impressions, and we're going to talk about some of those. And Stephen, what has really stood out to you, some of the elements and some of the positions this week that kind of flash for you?
Well, certainly you always have at the start of training camp all eyes on the top picks. In this case, Gerald McCoy, the third overall pick, Brian Price, first of their second round picks. They both, I think, flashed this week. I think Gerald McCoy was everything they expected. Certainly hasn't played in a game yet, but just in terms of what they've done out here, and they have been live in a few periods, he has stood out. But I think Brian Price actually has been a pleasant surprise. No one expected him to be a failure, certainly, but he has really stood out. He's been hampered by the hamstring a little bit. He's been very physical, very, very fast off the ball, and I think they really have, he's opened a lot of eyes this week. He's certainly gotten some compliments from the likes of Jeff Fain, even, who is not one to hand those out very often. So they have certainly made an impression. We've also seen a really intense battle among the receivers, Rick, and you have some impressions on those guys after a week?
Well, yeah, I mean, I think Mike Williams, you know, is a guy that's going to be a starter for them, and along with Sammy Strouder, it looks like right now he's a young player in his own right. But, you know, as of the week wrapped up late, I think Aurelius Ben, Regis Ben as we call him, really started to show up, particularly in being very physical, which he is, in the red zone, showing some confidence in his hands, the ability to split some double teams. And also there's a lot of competition in corner. I mean, we talk about Ronnie Barber being in his last year, but you have some young guys, E.J. Biggers, who was injured last year, coming in. Obviously, we know about Albert Mack. And there are some other guys that are starting to really compete for that nickel corner job, and as well as Myron Lewis, their draft pick. So a lot of competition, and it has been a pretty productive first week. Make sure that you tune in, obviously, next week as we continue to talk about the Bucs and their progress towards that first preseason game against the Miami Dolphins next Saturday.